Okay, brace yourself because this one, it's gonna leave you breathless. Juice WRLD's ex didn't just whisper a secret. She set the whole courtroom on fire. For years, fans have swallowed the clean-cut narrative. Seizure, overdose, tragic end. But now, Ali Lottie, the girl who was literally glued to his side, just grabbed that story and tore it into shreds. She's naming names, pointed fingers, and the courtroom, ice-cold silence when she revealed Juice's final words. She didn't just watch him die, she watched the industry kill him. She says Juice WRLD was manipulated, controlled, and pushed to the edge, while the people cashing checks stood by pretending everything was fine. And the worst part? She's been saying this for years, but now she's backed it all up. In court, yeah, no more whispers, no more cryptic tweets. She's telling the world how Jared Higgins was turned into Juice WRLD and then discarded like he was nothing. She says she was the only one holding him together while his team kept pushing for more records, more flights, more pressure. She was there helping him breathe through panic attacks, calming him down backstage, literally stopping his hands from shaking. And everyone else? Either clueless or willfully blind. Let's go back and break this down.
He's like, I'm upset. And I'm like, okay, what's up? He's like, what do you mean a panic attack? Like, no one knew.
Before the headlines, before the stardom, Ali Lottie, real name Alicia, was out there grinding on her own. She wasn't some fangirl. This girl was hustling in Philly, throwing warehouse parties, bartending in Memphis, working strip clubs just to survive. By 25, she'd seen it all. Broke, homeless, struggling. And when she met Jared, she didn't even know he was Juice WRLD.
Like, I don't know who this kid is, but this is, if I made music, you're mixing a bunch of genres together and being so good at it.
Thought Lucid Dreams was some chill song her friend shared. No idea it was a global smash. By the time she figured it out, it was too late. She was already in it. They'd been messaging, talking anxiety, trauma, trust, and then boom, he flies her out to Rhode Island. Just a weekend hangout, not even close. Jared didn't want her to leave, not in a creepy way, but in that please don't leave me alone with my demons kind of way. He clung to her like a lifeline.
Jared literally he kidnapped me is the only way we could say it. It's like a joke that we would say, but it happened.
From that moment, it was non-stop. Tour after tour, hotel to hotel, meltdown to overdose scare. Ali was there, and she says it wasn't about romance. It was survival. Jared needed her, needed someone to ground him. His team, his label, his crew, oblivious. While he was unraveling, they just kept pushing the gas. More shows, more flights, more pills. Ali saw it up close, and she's calling it what it was, exploitation. She says he was recording nonstop, over 2,000 songs in 2 years. That's not genius, that's abuse. Jared was a kid drowning in pressure, and instead of saving him, they milked him for content. And the ones who should have been protecting him, they were making millions off his breakdowns.
Jared was tired.
Right.
Jared was tired. His body, at the end of the day, what I could say about when everything happened is just his body was tired. I was tired. My body has gone through a lot, but my body was tired. Like, I can only imagine what his brain would move 8 times faster.
Ali swears Jared couldn't even make it to Tokyo without her. He was barely functioning, couldn't remember basic things, couldn't even get his passport without freaking out. And the people around him, instead of slowing down, they booked more gigs. It was all about money, never about Jared's sanity.
I remember crying. He was like, she's gonna get her passport tomorrow at 12, so I had to go to the DMV at 8 a.m.
And now, years later, after being branded everything from a liar to a gold digger, Ali finally broke. She's telling her truth in court, and let's be honest, it changes everything. Because if she's right, Juice WRLD didn't just die, he was systematically failed by an industry, by a team, and by people who valued his music more than his life. She warned his family, told them what was happening, screamed it, but no one listened.
Like, he's 19. Around everyone else he's around is 25, 26, 27, 20.
Jared was the youngest in every room, the richest, the most wanted, and also the most isolated. While everyone chased his money, Ali says she was the only one watching his mind spiral. Full-blown panic, mood swings, paranoia. He wasn't okay, and she knew it. But when she tried to help, they gave him more Instead,
It's like, what do you mean a panic attack? Like, no one knew around him.
she begged him to stop, begged them to stop. But Juice WRLD had become a machine, a walking money maker. Every day off was a loss, so the show never stopped, even when his body was falling apart. She says she knew it was coming, that one day in the shower when she broke down crying out of nowhere, it was the moment her world began to unravel.
We were in the shower and I just started bursting into tears. And I was like, you're not gonna be here.
Looking back now, she's haunted, not just by what she missed, but by what she knew and screamed to the void. This wasn't just a tragic overdose. It was a coordinated neglect, a young man crushed by the machine. And now we dive into the final 24 hours, the flight, the pills, the seizure, the chaos. Ali says the public story, a cover-up. Jared had plans to slow down, but the team didn't stop. More bookings, more appearances. And then came that last flight, one that should have never happened. Midway Airport. The official story says, seizure, pills, game over. But Ali says there's more, much more. Before they landed, the team was already freaking out. Federal agents were tipped off. There were and guns on the plane, so Jared panicked, swallowed pills, too many. Ali says he was terrified, alone in that decision. And where was his team? Where was security? Who let him do it? She says no one stopped him, just silence.
I could have made sure that people were gone that shouldn't have been around, because that it was like, what, I don't know. Because when I said something, it wasn't, even if I might have been a cunt, or sorry, but that's what I was.
Years of being ignored, dismissed, mocked online. Ali wasn't just the girlfriend. She was the one keeping him alive. And when that flight landed and Jared collapsed, she was interrogated like a suspect. Not consoled, not believed, interrogated. She was still trying to comprehend what had just happened, and they were already asking what pills he took, who gave them to him, what she was hiding. She didn't even get to grieve. Instead, she was iced out. Blocked from the hospital, shut out of the estate, blacklisted from his story. She never got a call from his team, never got a "how are you?" No one cared. And while the world mourned online, hashtags and headlines everywhere, Ali, she was gone, erased. Juice WRLD's music skyrocketed immediately after his death. His songs dominated the charts. Lucid Dreams shot back to #1 on Apple Music. Streams exploded by almost 500%. Legends Never Die sold close to 500,000 units in its first week. But where was Ali? Nowhere near it. She wasn't at the meetings. She wasn't asked. She was completely frozen out, locked away from everything. The girl who literally toured the world by his side, the one who helped him survive panic attacks mid-concert, the one he called his anchor, was now treated like she never mattered. They didn't just erase her, they buried her. And when the world asked, where's the girlfriend? Blogs didn't tell the truth. They twisted it, they fed fans lies, they implied she was involved. They made her out to be a problem. Was she giving him the pills? Was she profiting? Was she a toxic presence? Ali went from lifeline to villain in the blink of an eye. She wasn't mourning, she was dodging rumors, hate mail, online trolls. She says it was the darkest period of her life. Not just because Jared was gone, but because the world refused to acknowledge who she really was to him. She had to watch the very people who pushed him into chaos now profit from the tragedy they helped create. They wore the grief like a mask while stacking checks behind closed doors. She says the industry has always been this way, monetizing loss, selling pain. From Tupac to X, Pop Smoke to Juice WRLD, death becomes a brand. Ali wasn't chasing clout. She was screaming for help long before the cameras rolled. And when she spoke up, they told her to shut up and smile. Told her to be the quiet girlfriend, told her to disappear. And the worst part, they started removing her from his legacy, literally. Photos from tours and red carpets, cropped. Videos of backstage moments, edited. Public posts with her in them, deleted. Like she was never there. But she was. For every song, every studio session, every panic attack, every emergency room, she's the one who watched the whole thing fall apart in real time.
Jared made a whole album about me and I wasn't allowed to listen to it on. I have not listened to Legends Never Die.
Think about it. She inspired entire songs. She was in the room while he was creating hits that made the world cry. She was the one he played unreleased tracks for, songs about her, written for her. Now she can't even listen to them publicly without being harassed. Because those songs, they're not just music anymore. They're a corpse, remixed, repackaged, and sold to the highest bidder. Ali says she saw it happen immediately after his death. The scramble, the vault of unreleased music locked away, the estate sealed tight. No input from her, no questions asked. She wasn't just excluded, she was erased. And it wasn't a mistake, it was intentional. Over 2,000 unreleased tracks. That catalog was a gold mine, and Ali believes that's exactly why some people didn't want her around, because she knew the truth, because she saw what they were doing, and because she had proof. Private messages between her and Jared, messages that revealed everything. In one paraphrased message she shared, Jared told her, "They don't care about my mind, they just want my music." That line, it's everything. She said she saw his soul dimming in those final months. He wasn't just tired, he was terrified. He didn't want to party or hang out at clubs. He wanted cartoons, video games, vintage clothes, fan DMs. He wanted quiet.
He was like, where is the GameStop and how much money do they take? Can I buy the GameStop? Or like, that's what we spent, that's what he spent money on. Like, yes, we spent money on clothes, and I have like 3 Chanel purses that he had got me from 1993 because that's when I was born.
He was a kid, a sweet, emotional, gifted kid. In the industry, they wanted a legend, and when he died, they got exactly that, a forever young icon, a tragedy to sell. They dropped Legends Never Die without her input, called it a tribute. But to Ali, it felt like a betrayal. It wasn't his farewell, it was theirs, and it was clean, polished, sanitized. She says Jared never wanted that. He wanted independence, control, maybe even his own label. He wanted to record when he wanted, not when they told him to. He wanted to rest, heal, be human.
But he was gonna sit there, put an album out that I have written right on that phone.
But they didn't want Juice WRLD the human. They wanted Juice WRLD the machine. And now, all these years later, Ali is still standing, bruised, battered, but unshaken. She's been called everything: liar, leech, manipulator. But she hasn't changed her story once. She shows up on podcasts, in courtrooms, in front of fans, and says the same thing. I was there. I tried to stop it, and I won't let them erase him. Because the version of Juice WRLD the world worships isn't the version she loved. The version she loved was soft-spoken, scared, dreamy, brilliant, and totally overwhelmed.
Juice WRLD is still here, and he is still here, but Jared is not here, and it's hard.
You can hear it in her voice. That pain, it never left. It's deep, real, raw, and it's why she refuses to be silent anymore. So what now? Ali Loti is done waiting. She's teasing new projects, a memoir, advocacy for artists' rights, maybe even new music. Yes, Jared's music, songs that no one's heard, tracks he gave to her directly. And she's debating, should she release them? Or should she protect them? She's carrying the legacy now, alone but with purpose. And her mission is clear: accountability. She wants the managers who ignored the panic attacks to answer for it. The execs who turned away while pills were handed out like candy, she wants them exposed. The people who watched Jared unravel and said nothing, she wants them held responsible. She doesn't want pity, she wants change. Because if Jared had lived, he might have walked away from it all. He might have taken control, slowed down, found peace. But instead, he became another headline, another tragedy, another posthumous album cover. And Ali, she became a ghost in her own story. But not anymore, because the girl who saw it all, who loved the boy behind the legend, is finally speaking for both of them. And if even a fraction of what she's saying is true, then it's time we all asked the same question. How many more artists have to die before this cycle ends? Rest in power, Jared Higgins, and thank you, Ali Loti, for not letting them rewrite the truth.